As a shortcut, I went down an old motorway. What I saw will forever be with me. It was 7 p.m. I'd just left my countryside home located in Wimberley, Texas, when my phone began to ring. "Hello?" I answered, annoyed. "Hey Dan, it's James from work." "Yes, I know who you are, James. What is it?" I said, sounding more annoyed than when I picked up the phone. "I was just phoning to remind you that when you get to North Carolina, I need you to pick my brother up from the airport. His flight's been changed, and I didn't want you waiting about at an airport for hours." "Okay, that's fine and all, James, but when does your brother get in?" "Well, unfortunately he won't arrive until 1 a.m. Angry, I slammed my phone into the wheel. 1 a.m. "James, are you joking?" I shouted into the phone. "I thought it was 11 p.m. tomorrow. I know, I'm sorry he missed his deadline and switched flights." "Fine, James, tell Gray I will see him tomorrow at 1 a.m. sharp." "Okay, night, James, be safe," I replied, ending the call annoyed. "I tell you, this guy will be the death of me." I was just 6 hours into my 20-hour drive when my gas light came on. Luckily for me, however, there was a station 2 miles up the road. I sighed and pulled off the motorway and onto a dimly lit exit ramp that seemed to go on and on. Luckily, just as I ran out of gas, I saw the lights of the station. I was the only car in there. Yes, fast service, I thought to myself. I walked into the station. Ding, ding! The bell rang as I pushed open the front door. The acne-riddled cashier kid, who was no older than 20, looked up from his phone and spoke with a raspy voice. "Can I help you?" "Yeah, 50 regular on 3. He looked at me, annoyed. "Is that all?" he mumbled. "Yep, just the gas and directions for the fastest way to get back on the motorway." He looked up at me and smiled. It was an eerie smile. His teeth were stained yellow and cracked. "Yeah, I can give you some directions." "Well, I have to get to North Carolina before tomorrow," I said. "I know a way, but you won't want to go that way." "Why is that?" "Well, people always see a lot of strange things. They say there's something out there. Many people don't go that way anymore." Suddenly, the door was being pushed open. "Everything okay?" "Yep, all good, Sheriff." "Is Tom telling you about Highway 10? I looked at the sheriff. He said, "Truth be told, there's nothing scary about that highway, and it can definitely get you there. You want to head out of here and onto the main road, take for about 4 miles. And when you see a sign for Unison Street and Carson Ave, turn right onto Unison, take it for another mile, and it will connect you to Highway 10. I paid for my gas and said thanks to the sheriff and was on my way. Before I knew it, Unison Street came up fast and I soon found myself on a dark and long stretch of road. I was 12 miles into this highway and I saw a lady in the middle of the road. I slammed on my brakes, swapping lanes and coming to a stop in the middle of the highway. I looked up and I realized she was gone. Flashing red and blues lit up my car as I put it back in drive. I was forced to pull it over again to the side of the road. A mid-30s African-American man walked up to my window. "What on earth were you doing?" he shouted violently at me. Deputy Smith with the Bridgewater Sheriff's Office Highway Division. "May I see your license? Do you know why I stopped you? I saw you cross lanes in a violent manner." "Are you trying to cause an accident?" I replied. "Did you not see the lady in white run in front of my car?" "Isn't Bridgewater 13 to 15 miles back that way?" I asked, getting my license out of my glove box. Looking back at him to hand him my info, I screamed in horror, as he now had no eyes and was halfway through my car window. I closed my eyes and reopened them. Nobody was there. The car and officer were just gone. It was a good 20 minutes before I drove back onto the dark highway. I drove for another 7 miles when I realized I've been passing the same exit sign for about 3 miles now. Exit 2A, I thought to myself. There's no way that could be the same exit. There's just no way. I drove another mile and again. Exit 2A, 1 mile. What the? At this point, I'm truly terrified as I passed the sign again. And then I had an idea. Surely I can't pass the sign on the other side of where it's meant to be, right? I asked myself. I was wrong. There, on my right, upcoming exit 2A. Panic set in now, and I could only imagine how much more was on this old highway. And just then, as if I was in a horror movie, my car stops, sputtering and then dying right on the highway. Amazing, now what? I thought to myself. There, on the other side of the fog, came a sign, a new sign that read, North Carolina exit 1B, 2A, 3C. How am I going to get there with a dead car? Lights lit up my car as I said this. Oh no, please no more. Tap, 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 I heard on my window as I hid my face. Are you in need of some help? I looked up and saw a tow truck driver at my car. Yes, please. A few minutes later, my car started with a nice hum, and the car was working again. I thanked the man and pulled back onto the highway. I realized that the whole time, I was stuck in that hell loop for 3 days. I made it to North Carolina soon after, and when I reached the closest town, I was never more happy to hear my phone. 320 messages, 32 missed calls. It was all from James. Hello? Thanks for never showing, etc. I explained everything to him and made it home. We are getting on now. When it was time to go back home, I took a different way. When I got back home, I researched what happened to me and a search on the cop I saw that night, as well as everything else I saw. I found an article published June 8th, 1994, by Bridgewater Daily Chronicle. It stated, Bridgewater Deputy Jordan Smith, a 20-year veteran of the department, was shot and killed late last night on Highway 10 at mile marker 2A. Other deputies arrived on the scene to only describe the scene as purely disturbing. Deputy Smith had both his eyes removed with a knife, Sheriff Waters said, and the hunt is still on for the suspect. A chill ran through me when I read this. I could not believe I was reading that a deputy died 25 years ago, but I saw him that night. I continued to scan the article and noticed another article listed at the bottom of this one. Bridgewater Sheriff's Office responds to Old Highway 10 for a suspect in the homicide case of Deputy Smith being hit by a car on mile marker 2A. It all clicked into place. Woman claims ghost of deputy stops her at mile marker 2A. He doesn't have eyes. Yesterday evening, Bridgewater Sheriff's Office investigated a report made at their North Precinct of a woman being stopped by someone resembling a sheriff's deputy. So far, they have no leads. Knowing I wasn't the only one was very interesting.